All right, guys, good morning. Let me know if my mic is loud enough or not. Should be okay. It is Friday, and it is the toughest day of the week to try to day trade. Fridays are always tough because there's a lot of selling volume. You have swing traders getting out of their positions because they don't want to hold over the weekend. You have day traders who's already made their profit for the week, so they're done and they're going on vacation or whatever they do on the weekends. So the volume's always weird on Fridays. And I may be looking to use a different strategy that I use sometimes on Fridays. And it's a very simple strategy, and it's just a bounce play. Look for a stock with a lot of volume and look for it to have several red candles in a row and then buy very low and wait for a little bounce. So it's very quick. Be very, very quick. Don't want to be stuck in a trade on Friday holding because it could always go the other way very quickly. But stocks, what goes up must come down. What goes down must come up. So that's why the bounce play is effective, because you're not going to have 10 or 20 straight red candles in a row. Eventually there's going to be a green candle. The key is just getting in at the last red candle. So that's what we're looking at. So I need to go through and get this list narrowed down. CGIX says there's 60 million shares, but that can't be quite right because they had a 1-to-30 reverse stock split, so the float's got to be lower than that, I would think. Just might not have updated yet on Thinkorswim. There's nothing really going on with it, but reverse stock splits are prime pump territory. A lot of trading chat rooms like to pump these reverse stock splits, so you can get a nice move on these. And Friday is a very pumpy day. You can get a lot of pump and dumps on Friday. See XNet. NextNet's made a nice move. Not sure why, but it's probably not going to go much higher because it's got the 200-day right there. And I was looking at Trove. Trove actually would have been a decent play today. Kind of had this red to green move, little tiny U shape right here in the beginning for a nice little pop up. And then it built higher lows right here and broke the VWAP. This would have been a nice 20-cent play, but I missed that because I'd had things to do this morning. So I couldn't trade right at market open. But yeah, that would have been a decent play right there. I locked in a quick 20 cents on that one because it fit the strategy perfect. In NVC, we've got nothing there. Let's see. Builds promising pipeline targeting a multi-billion-dollar market for herpes and shingles. Okay. All right, good for them. ONDK. This initially had about a 30-cent run, but it's not doing much now. Could get a bit of a U-shape under the VWAP. See, this is a higher price stock. It's also ugly. I'm not completely throwing my normal strategy out of the window. If I see something very clear cut and obvious, then of course we'll use that strategy. But I just know how Fridays can be, and they can be pretty crazy. Now we're almost in the XNet. Yeah, that's what I was saying. XNet's definitely overbought. It would probably be pretty impossible for it to break that 200 as high as it already is. So that's why we're staying away from it. But it is almost that time of year where shipping stocks get hot, and SHIP is a shipping stock. and it is had some unusual volume, so I had it on the watch list this morning. It's also very low right there on both of the moving averages, and if it was to break out, it's got room from 65 cents all the way up to $3, so you can make a really big profit on that. And because Friday is such a pumpy day, these shipping stocks could get going. But it's usually November when they really get going. So YRWC or YRCW, kind of ugly. Like that. We got some red stocks here. That's ugly. Take that off. Whoops. CPST. That's pretty ugly too. What they got? So that's interesting, but they secured initial order, but there's no terms disclosed. So that you don't know what that means really. Really want to know what the terms were, or at least know what kind of value we're talking. TRNX. Nothing there. CLSD. Nothing there. YWRC. That's and that looks like that's another shipper actually, because it says YRC Freight. So the shipping stocks may be starting to heat up here next week, because we've got two today that popped up on the scanner. They're not doing anything, but they're starting to get some volume. Stock purchase agreement. That could be good. Let's see, ONDK actually back above the VWAP here, but it's moving very slow. We are above the VWAP here. Nice little U shape. But 450, let's see actually, where's it at? 200 day is right at 447. So it's struggling with the 200 day moving average. And it could be like I said, it's Friday, so I'm not going to force anything. I'm going to be very careful on what I do. And NBC, that's the herpes and shingles play. 297 resistance. I don't think this is going to do anything. I mean, it could. Let's see. It's got a very low float, so it could. Check down here. Just by looking at the 10% NASDAQ gainer list, though, I can tell the penny stock world is not great right now. There's not good market conditions because there's a lot of large cap stocks on there and very few penny stocks. So they're announcing, I think My Hero Academy. I think that's a video game or something. But oh yeah, Funimation. That's some type of gaming anime company. So I mean, I don't know how big My Hero Academia is to move this stock. I mean, it sounds like a good press release, but like, you know, teenagers and anime fans, there's probably some day trading, but most day traders probably don't watch any of that, and they probably don't know what that is. So they probably see that and they're like, okay. I mean, it did get a little move from $4 up to $5.10. I mean, it's a nice move. So I don't know. Maybe people like that show. Maybe it's a good press release. Just kind of riding above the VWAP now, though. So what is this float? Pretty low float. Like extremely low float. Because if that's the shares, the float's probably like 1.5 million or something. So that's interesting. Yeah, we're riding right above this VWAP. Let's see where we got resistance at on the past chart. Yeah, $5 is resistance. $5 would be strong resistance on this play. Oh, my phone's going off. Sorry about that. Let's see. I'm actually going to put this on the watch list just because it's interesting. CGIX dropping down pretty low. We could look for an entry if it gets any lower, because this 325 area is going to hold up as some support. It held up in pre-market as support, so could possibly get a bounce there. I mean, you can just see on these penny stocks, there's just like there was a little volume in the beginning, but now there's just not much volume going on any of them. We're not getting really too many moves. Let's see, take a look at Trove. Trove back down to the VWAP. It bounced off the VWAP here. And it's cracking pretty hard. And Trove was already a good play this week. So this stock does have attention and nothing else is going on. Really. But I really need this to move a lot. Because I'm on a small account, I need to... I can only get like 400 shares. And the most, I mean, off the VWAP, this is only ran 20 cents. So it'd be like $80. I'd have to move another 20 cents. I don't know if we get that much of a bounce on this play. Yeah, Trove definitely could be short. It could be short bait all the way. It's had 4 green days, so we got to keep that in mind too. That was a good point. Shorters could easily take this over. So we definitely want to be careful. Did get a little bounce there from 240 to 250. Could have been a decent little 10-cent move. Yeah, I wasn't really looking for a breakout on Trove. I was more looking for like this very simple bounce play here. You know, we got this one red candle down below the VWAP, and if it got a little bounce up like it did, so you get in 240, and it's up to 250. That's a quick little 10 cents. Now it's up to 255. So that's kind of what I was looking for. It's just a little quick bounce play, and it got it there. It got a little bounce. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect this to go much higher right here. But I was just looking for that little small window for a decent profit on there. Could have been. Like I said, I'm not going to force anything. I'm 4 for 4 on this small account challenge, and I want to keep that going. My goal to start this challenge off is to go 10 for 10, which is absolutely insane. And I don't think I know anybody who's ever went 10 for 10 on a small account challenge, but that's my goal. So I'm not going to force anything, especially on a Friday like this. Just look around. CGIX. Dropping down pretty low. At 340. I think that's what I was saying. No, 325 is what I was saying with support on that. Yeah, exactly. Like Mondays are always better than Fridays. Always. And so that's why I'm not going to force anything, because you might jump in. Where are you talking about One Life on Trove? Might jump in on the 1 minute pullback. If it pulls back again here to the VWAP. Just keep in mind, don't know how much this VWAP is going to hold up. This would be the fourth. This would be like the fourth time that it's going to test the VWAP. So it's getting a little OPK. You don't want to trade OPK. They've got a price offering, which in the penny stock world is not a good thing. Plus, this chart is ugly. When you have a bunch of white little dash candles like this, that's not really what you want. It's an ugly chart to try to play. At least with my strategies, I don't like it when a chart looks like this. I tend to stay away from stocks that look like barcodes, and that's what that looks like, is a barcode. So I'm not gonna play OPK. Yeah, the shippers. It's always in November. They start heating up, and they're known to run big. In the last couple of years, I don't think they've ran as big as they normally do, but I know there was a few years ago, I think 3 years ago, there was some really big moves on shippers. We had like, what was that one called? I don't know. There was one that I got in at $2, and it ran at like $3, and I got out. But then like within an hour, it was up to $24, and I was like kicking myself so hard on that one. But there was just several of them that just ran like more than $10 or $15 in a span of an hour, hour and a half. Like huge gains on those shippers. So this time of year, I always keep them on. I keep them on watch. Tops, Dryas, ships, W or D. What's that other one? I can't remember the other one, but they'll start popping up on the scanners here soon, and we'll be watching them for sure. CGX still back down there. Trovair still moving above the VWAP, starting to get a little rounded top. Kind of a reverse U shape was not a good thing. Usually you have a crack down on that type of play, on that type of pattern of candles. Like I said, guys, I'm not going to force anything. I'm not like gung-ho today about making a trade. Let's see here. ONDK is back above the VWAP. And I know ONDK does have some white dash candles, but the stock doesn't look barcodey. Like, even though it has those, it's still kind of fluent. When you've got a barcode looking stock, they're usually not very fluid. So, you see, because this went up and made a nice little U there, and then came down, and It's a little slow, curves down. It's not so jagged like those barcode stocks are. We are above the VWAP on this. Where's my cartoon play? My Funimation play. Crack the VWAP. Down pretty low. Trying to see if we got any support here that we could look for. See, at 460 is some resistance. And maybe that 445 area could be some support right where we're at. But maybe 425 with market open. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I like this play because the float is so low. So like if we did get a bounce, it would be a very quick bounce, and it would probably move, 20-30 cents. That's still though, I could only get 200 shares. It'd have to move like 20-30 cents. I don't know, guys. I don't know. And you can see Trove is starting to round back down to the VWAP. There it goes, right back to the VWAP, as I was saying. Hey, that's a good move on SDC. Good little play there yesterday. It's a little out of the price range of stocks I like to play. I don't usually like to go over $10, but on this small account, I can't. There's like no way I could afford enough shares to make any money on that type of play. So that's why my focus is in the pretty low region of like 50 cents to $5, because any more than that I can't get but like 100 shares, and it'd really have to move for me to make some money. And on a Friday, I'm not looking for a dollar rip on anything. So that could have been another potential maybe bounce right there. But I'm a little worried with it doing this like reverse U shape. I'm worried about it cracking this VWAP here. We'll see though. We'll give Trove a chance. NMVC, nothing. We'll take it off. OPP, looking kind of barcodey. Oh, look at there. I was right on that one. Saying maybe that could hold up and be a potential bounce play. Do have a decent little U here. Interesting. There's nothing else really going on, and this has a collaboration press release, so this could potentially be a good play. It's just a weird play because it's not like a collaboration with like an oil company or the government or anything like that. It's all the way up to 480 though, but it's a cartoon type of deal. So I don't know, like, how excited are people going to be about that? What I mean, like day traders. Does anybody in here watch My Hero Academia? Maybe you can shed some light on this, because I know like Funimation does stuff with like Cartoon Network, I think. But I don't really know what My Hero Academia is. I think I've heard about it, but I'm not really sure. So let's check XNet since we got some new highs. Yeah. And XNet's just been on this trend line here. This has just been a good trend line play. Could have got a good little bounce play right there off of the trend line. And we may look for that. That might be the play we look for today. Is we might look for this to come back down to the trend line and see if we get a little bounce play again off the trend line. But right now it's so high up. And this 200-day moving average is most likely going to hold it back right here. I can't imagine it going through that 200 right here. That would be pretty crazy. It was a big seller. Yeah, a big seller popped up, and yeah, a lot of selling right here. So it would take a lot of buying volume, and on a Friday, I don't see it getting it. I mean, it is through it. The 200's at 342, so, but it could pull back really quick though. A lot of selling right in this area. There's a big buyer now on 348. The play on this would have been buying right here on the trend line, this little bounce for that 40-cent move. That would have been a good play. But I kind of took XNet off the list there. But that's okay. Let's see. This is the one I'm interested in. Oh, I'm going to put XNet back on because we could get that trend line bounce. This stock have a good bit of volume. It's had volume all morning, so we could get a bounce. I just don't like the float. The float's not that low, so that's the only thing that bothers me about it. But it is moving, even though it doesn't have that low of a float. You know, the stock has already went almost $1 today. Very, very slowly. That's a good. That's I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what this does here. Because I think it could come back down to the trend line and then maybe get another run up to try to break the 200, but I don't think it would break the 200. So my plan would be to get in on the trend line and then sell at this 350 area. So it'd be like, I don't even know if that'd be worth it though. So I can get, maybe I could get, probably get 250 shares, and if it moved about 20 cents, I could make a quick $50 maybe. It's just hard, guys, because I'm on a small account, so I'm limited to how many shares, and that's why I like using the other strategy, especially for growing that small account, because we're trading breakouts, so we're getting bigger moves, so we can get decent amount of profits. I know I haven't got any major gains yet, but there's been a couple that's been decent runners. I just didn't sell when I should have. But it's got to be worth it for me to get in. I don't want to take a trade for a $20 win. I'd rather just not trade at all today and come back Monday and be ready to go. CGIX still riding under the VWAP. And this guy is holding the VWAP, 475 area. Not a lot of volume though. But yeah, this would have been a perfect play for the bounce play strategy because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not going to count this because it's not nothing. 9, 10, 11 red candles in a row. So what goes down must come up. 11th red candle. It didn't crack anymore. It stayed right here in this little support area. And then you get a nice entry here. And you get a nice bounce back up. There's got to be some green candles somewhere. I said that the other day, and that's the same thing on this play. This would have been a nice little bounce play. So would have XNet, both of them. Because XNet, you can see. Well, look at there, man. XNet's actually breaking out right now. I did not expect that. Wow. But yeah, like I was saying in the bounce play, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're green, but not really very big green. But you got about 5, 6 red candles in a row right here to the trend line. So you got to have some green candles, and XNet really a lot of green candles. I definitely was not expecting that to break right there. That's interesting. It does have a lot of volume. It's had volume all morning, but with it being that high up, I'm not buying right here in this area. It could have easily just crashed. But good play on a Friday. Good volume. Just been on this trend line all morning. But now we're way off the VWAP. We're way off the trend line. So jumping in here would be suicide. No, that's what I'm saying. I was expecting a pullback right here in this area. I did not expect it to have this two big green candles in a row right here and hit that high. It's surprising. But like I said, we're way off of the VWAP. We're way off of the trend line, so that's really risky to try to get in here. You'd have to wait for some type of pullback. And XNet's up 56% on a Friday. That's pretty good. Surprising, but whoops, just froze my Thinkorswim, I think. There we go. Let's see. TWMC is still above the VWAP, so keep that. Watch. Did I take Trove off? What happened to Trove? I'm not sure why I took Trove off. Okay, well, this is interesting. On Trove, we actually have some sort of trend line going here. If my drawing tool will work. Am I right? Ooh, too much. There we go. We're almost right at the trend line in the VWAP. That could be some strong support. Oh, I know why I took it off, because we were talking about it maybe short bait, but right now it's building higher lows. No, with XNet having a lot of volume right now, God, XNet's still going. XNet having all the volume right now, Trove is probably not going to be a good play. Interesting. Really did not expect that out of XNet, at least not yet. I would expect more of a pullback. Okay, and CGIX starting to come back up to the VWAP. This would be a big U shape. Give me just a second, guys. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna see what the float is on this. I wish Thinkorswim had a float option. It's only got the shares, but with them having a 1-to-30 reverse stock split, this should have pretty low. Should have a pretty low float, and it's showing 60 shares. So I'm just gonna check on my phone real quick on Yahoo Finance and just see what they're saying about this float. Because this would be a big U-shaped breakout here on a Friday. Well, it would be a big U-shape. I don't know if it's going to break out that big on a Friday, but if the float is as low as I think it is, then this thing could get moving. I mean, we've only got room if it does break. Got resistance at $4. That's going to be really tough. So, but we just saw XNet go pretty crazy, and XNet's still going crazy. I can see it on the side over there. Huh. So Yahoo Finance says 52 million in float on this play. So, if that's the case, man, it must have had a huge float. Let's go back to XNet. Look at this. Wow. What a run on a Friday. The bounce off of the trend line, and it just kept going. And it's still going. Yeah, I missed this one for sure. But, I mean, how... I just did not expect that big of a move. Especially with that 200-day moving average there. $4 is going to hold up as resistance on this play. Maybe. So far, this play has made me look stupid. It's doing the total opposite of what I was thinking. That's the thing with Fridays. Fridays are unpredictable. And that's why I'm always hesitant to trade on Fridays because all morning it's looked like there's not much volume and that nothing was going to pop in the penny stock world. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, uh, XNet's been on the slow climb on this trend line, and then it just bounced off the trend line like a mad, crazy person running. A lot of buyers still coming in. And it's going right up to $4 here. Crazy. If it breaks $4, I will truly be shocked because I mean we've got a lot of green candles straight up here with not really any pullback because these little red candles are pretty little, so that's not much of a pullback. There's a nice pullback. Yeah, I was gonna say XNet. Don't you be breaking through $4 and making me look like a crazy person, because $4 should be pretty obvious resistance. Yeah, and definitely at 425. So maybe we can look for a pullback to the trend line if it slowly comes back down again. But that was a big bounce off the trend line. It was way bigger than I was expecting. CGIX still slowly coming up. I wish I knew what the actual float on that was, because I can't, with a 1 to 30 reverse stock split, I would think the float would be a lot lower than 50 million. And this guy dropped back down. Starting to build some higher lows on this play as well. Interesting. Oh, and Trove, that's what I wanted to put back on my watch list because we were getting a trend line on Trove. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, Trove is back above the VWAP now. Riding up this trend line. Now, if XNet falls off, we could see some volume come back in the Trove. So like I said, Trove has been hot all week. But it is due for a day of it's due for a pullback day. It's due for a day of shorters taking over. So we got to keep that in mind. But we do have a nice trend line formed on here. Let's see, we got resistance at 309, basically $3. So what's XNet doing? XNet still way off of this trend line. I don't know, guys. I'm trying to be smart. I'm trying to be safe. I've been pretty sloppy this week. Been undisciplined on 2 trades. I still won, but it was still sloppy. They were sloppy wins, and they could have been for more than what they were for. So I'm trying to stay more disciplined and less sloppy. Trying to make smart moves. So Trove at 260. We do have a bit of a triangle, like a big wedge forming on this play. Keep it on watch because this is a decent pattern. Friday, guys. Fridays are always tricky. I actually want to redraw this trend line here. so I can see when we're getting close. Because we could look for a bounce play off of the trend line here, but it's going to have to come back down. It's too high up. Too high up. Excuse me. Okay. So, look around. Just do a scan, see, make sure we're not missing anything else. Nope. Not missing anything else. Trove. Trib. TRIB. Let's take a look at that. See, we have any more shippers popped up on this list? There's ship. Just looking for any ones that I know of. I think YRWC was or CW was the other one. So, okay. Let's take a look at this stock here. Kind of all over the place. A lot of ugliness. I don't like that. So let's take a look at some shippers while we're kind of waiting for things to, waiting for XNet to pull back and some of that stuff. So you can see the 1 year chart on tops is insane. It doesn't make any sense. You can't see any candles. That is because shippers are actually really garbage companies, and they do a lot of reverse stock splits to stay listed on the NASDAQ. A lot of reverse stock splits. So it's really, that's another reason why it's hard to play these, because there's no like really resistance or support besides natural that you can see. There's not a lot of volume. But you can see back here in May and August, or May and June and July, there was no volume. And here lately, we're starting to get some volume on tops. So those shippers. Let's see, what was the other one? Dryas, I think. Dryas. And once again, ugly 1 year chart. For some reason, it's taking a minute to load the chart. Trove just bounced off the view. Let's see. Oh, yeah. A little bounce. Kind of messing up our triangle, though. Kind of got our trend line a little off, maybe. Let's see. Could look for an entry, maybe. Because it's right on the VWAP and almost right on the trend line. But we don't want that to crack either and take a loss. Some buy in there at 248. Oh, and starting to get a little bit of a bounce here. See, I could Get 300 shares. How much of a bounce are we going to get? I would need a 15-20 cent bounce to make it worth it. What's XNet doing? I'm not sure how I feel about that. XNet's still not coming down. It's kind of gotten some new support here at 365. Big buyer. 32,000 share buyer just came in at 382 on XNet. XNet's getting a lot of volume. Might have to look at XNet for a play, but it's just so high up right now. So here's the thing with Trove. Just like Wednesday, I forgot what it was I traded. I can't remember the ticker now, but we had this same type of little pattern here with the trend line and the resistance, kind of this big triangle going on. And if this doesn't break soon, if we don't get a move up to this 260 and get some type of break, the stock is going to crash out just like the one did on Wednesday. So I could potentially look for an entry here, but it would have to come, let's see, from 250, 260, 10 cents, 20 cents. I would need it to break out, and I'm not comfortable with that on a Friday, especially if XNet does not come back down. The woes of a small account. That's why this is tough. Because I can't get that many shares. Like if I could get 1,000 shares of this right here at this bounce, that would be fine. Because then, if it ran 10 cents, I could at least make $100. But I can only get like 300 shares, so I needed to run at least 20 cents to make it worth it. See, XNet coming up to $4 again. We'd have a little bit of a U kind of here. But if XNet breaks $4, that'll be crazy on a Friday. That would be extremely crazy. But see, it's kind of like more of the volume is on XNet, but Trove is still getting some volume. So if XNet was to crack, we possibly could get this break on Trove. Because Trove is only up 12%. It's not up that high. And it does have room to run to that $3 area if it breaks right here. And if it breaks 3, it's got room to 368. So Trove has some potential. It's just potential on a Friday is not the same potential as on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And this may be boring, guys, because I've not entered anything yet. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to force anything. Fridays are ugly. They're always tricky. And I'm being careful. Like I said earlier, I'm trying to go 10 for 10 on this small account challenge to start it off. So that means being careful on the days that we should be careful. Trove coming back up here. So that could have been a... And so that's what I was saying. If I was on a bigger account, I could have got 1,000 shares right there at that bounce. I'd already be up $100. That'd have been a nice, easy little bounce play. Right off of the VWAP and the trend line. So The bounce play strategy works on Fridays because all you're doing is looking for little moves like this, little moves back up. You're not looking for anything major. It's just harder with a small account because I can't buy that many shares. I like One Life said it's kind of a scalping strategy. And scalping is just where you get in really quick and get out really quick for like a quick 10 cents. And that's kind of what my bounce play strategy is. It's kind of a bounce scalp. But sometimes you get bigger bounces like on XNet, which was what I was actually looking for and I just missed. I really did not think it was going to get this big of a move. Because back here would have been a great little bounce entry off of this trend line. And it ended up moving 80 cents, which would have been a really nice bounce play, but that's okay. Don't want to force nothing. That could have easily turned around and could have easily did the opposite. We'll see here. Trove is coming back up. We have higher lows being built. It's a bit of a big U shape. 260, 265 area is going to be a lot of resistance. But it's possible. But if this, like I said, if this doesn't break soon, then it's gonna crack. It'll be done. It'll be just like Wednesday. I mean, it's almost the exact same pattern as Wednesday's trade. So we might have a while yet for this to come back down to that trend line. Trend line's coming up, so it's getting closer to it. I may have to switch to the 5-minute chart here soon. I love the 1-minute chart, but the longer you get into the market, it starts to become too many candles to try to keep up with. So you gotta switch to the 5-minute. I'm gonna stay on the 1-minute for a little bit longer while I'm looking at Trove, seeing if we can get this break or not. What's this guy doing? Still nothing. ODNK, nothing there. We're gonna take it off. OMDK looks like it got pumped today. I'm still gonna keep this on watch just because I find it interesting. CGIX, I don't know if it's going to get a move. If the float is right and there's 50 million, I don't think it'll get a move. Let's look and see if there's anything else going on. I don't think there is. CM. Wow, okay. Big float on this stock, but it's moved 30 cents, but kind of ugly though. So yeah, I think the focus is going to stay on XNet and Trove. Which one of these is going to be the play? That's the question. And I'll be honest, I'm leaning more towards XNet because it's had more volume, and this is the same pattern just about as Wednesday where it crashed out on Trove. So kind of leaning towards XNet, but we'll see. Coming up, slowly getting closer to that 260 resistance. See, XNet's coming back down nice. What we got? 7 red candles in a row, so maybe we could look for a bounce play here. So I can only get 250. We don't want this to crash out, but we need it to bounce. I'd like to see one more big red candle down to this trend line, and then we could try to get a bounce. But I mean, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 red candles in a row now. Come on down. Yeah, come on down. We also don't want this to crack too hard either, because if it... A lot of selling. Well, let's see if this is going to come a little bit of a buy there. We're close to the trend line. I'm just going to draw a little extension here. We're close to it. The trend line's like right at 350. And I'm thinking about maybe putting a... Oh, is you going to bounce here? I'm going to do a little early bounce. What my thought is, maybe putting a limit order in at 350 at this trend line. But if it bounces here, then we may be a little late. A lot of selling at 370 though. I mean, we did just have 8 candles in a row, 8 red candles. So it could do a little bounce. I was really wanting like one more red candle down to this 350 area, 355. And then we could start getting a reversal. Stock may be a little too high up though. Maybe getting a little too high up because the trend line is now coming off of the VWAP. So entry would be like right around 350-ish. And the VWAP's down at 337, so that's a little bit of risk. What happened with Trove? Yeah. See, that's what I was worried about. That's what I was saying. It was the exact same pattern as Wednesday, and the pattern didn't break out on Wednesday. It cracked like this. It cracked hard. It took it a little bit longer than Trove did, but it eventually cracked pretty hard. So that's what I was expecting, and that's why I was not leaning towards Trove. I'm leaning more towards XNet. That was a big, big red candle down. So that VWAP is cracked. That trend line is cracked. This play is bearish now. We are now bearish. So that's pretty ugly. So we'll just take that trend line off there. So yeah, that's why I'm leaning towards XNet. Yeah, see, man, I was really wanting one more red candle. That would have been a good bounce play on XNet. Good little bounce play from its 360 area to 380 almost. 15-20 cents of profit. That's what I was looking for. A little bounce, just a little quick bounce like that. I was just really wanting one more candle, one more red candle to make it closer to that trend line. Interesting. Let's see, the 200's at 342, so 342 will definitely hold up as some strong support, or it should. Okay, so now we're starting to get this cracked down. Getting a little closer to the trend line. And if it gets close to that trend line, and I see a big buyer on the bid somewhere, I might try to get in there. We're getting pretty close. But I also don't want this trend line to crack. So it's kind of sketchy. And we just saw Trove crack. So that's the thing. So we don't want XNet to crack too. I don't want to force anything and take a loss. Well, my trend line's ugly there. A bit of a, well, no. I'm going to redraw this trend line because it's ugly. About right there. See, it's not quite coming down to where I want it to. I want it to get a little bit under 360, but it may not do it. It may be right here. So we're just looking for a little simple bounce off of this trend line. Like a quick 20-25 cent bounce for a little $50 profit. That's the plan. But it's just not quite coming down low enough to where I'm comfortable with getting in at. We're starting to actually get some support at 360. Wonder why that is. Is there something on this chart back here at 360? Yeah, actually there is. So, where'd that go? Yeah, it looks like there was some old resistance and support at 360. You kind of draw a line from way back here across. You can see that white line. There's some support at 360, some old chart support. So 360 might be a good entry. Isn't that where it came right there? Yeah. So to keep this strategy simple enough, we're just looking for a quick bounce. 360 might be the entry. That's what I'm trying to figure out, is where I want to get in at on this. Where's the safest place? And I need to keep my finger on the trigger too, because it could crack. I've been on this trend line for a while. Coming up. Thinking about maybe putting a limit order in it. Maybe at 362. There's a little bit of support here. This 360 area, 364 to 365 area. You're not going to really see me use, yeah, there's that 362. Come back down. You're not really going to see me use this AT ladder here that much because I like the market order, but on a bounce play, it's kind of better if you can get in with a limit order. And it's moving, then the stock is moving slower too, so you don't have to worry about really not getting filled. I think I'm going to go with 362 because there's a lot of buying right there. Oh, Thinkorswim, don't freeze on me. Okay, there's my limit order. I don't think I got filled. No, I did not. So my order's still there. And this is going to be kind of right at that trend line. And we're going to look for a little bounce back up to 380. If I can get filled here. We also don't want to take a loss. So we need this to hold up. Ooh, we need this to come right back up. That was a big drop. This trend line needs to hold here. I'm in this play now, but it is Came back down a little bit harder than I was expecting on that trend line. We do not want it to crack anymore. Kind of down lower than I wanted to be right away. I may have to take a loss on this because it is still dropping. Trying to give it a bit of a chance. I want to see if 350 holds up. I knew 350 was where I should have been trying to get in at. Let's see. Let me try to give it a bit of a chance. Because it could just be a trend line test and we could come back up. So that's what I want to make sure before I jump out. I don't want to jump out and take a loss just to take a loss. Because we could get a trend line test here and still get the bounce up. So that's what I'm looking at. But if 350 cracks, I'll definitely have to get out of this. So see, I readjusted the trend line there. My trend line may have been a little off. Let's see if we get the little bounce here. We just want to see it bounce back up to that 380. A little trend line test. That was a little sketchy. I didn't get as good as entry as I wanted. Originally I said that 350, but I kept seeing 360 holding up, so I didn't think it was going to crack that low. So I thought 362 was going to be a good entry. It's kind of got me in a bad spot. Because if this trend line breaks, I'm going to be taking a decent sized loss on this small account. I'd rather been on the trend line. So we want this to hold up here. And I really want it to get back above 360 to make me feel comfortable. Because I'm not comfortable right now at all. Because this is Friday. Like I said, I wanted this to be a quick play. Oh, Thinkorswim, what are you doing? Thinkorswim is freezing up. I can't see what's going on. Come on. Come back. Well, guys, hopefully this is not turning red right now because my Thinkorswim just froze. I'm trying to give it a second here to catch up. Okay, good. It's coming back up some. I was really nervous there. There's a sick feeling in my gut. Feeling like, wow. I couldn't see where the bid or ask was, which made me really nervous. So we're still climbing up the trend line. We had a pretty good dip down from this initial run, so now we're just looking for another little run back up. Just a little run to like 375, 380. That's where I'm going to sell. I promise you I'm going to sell at that 380 area if we get back there. I'm not holding and making mistakes like I did the rest of the week. It is Friday and I'm going to be safe. And I already kind of screwed the pooch on my entry here, so I'm not thrilled about my entry. But we'll see. So we're back up to my entry. That makes me feel a little better. Needed to hold up. I just want, just give me a little 15 cents, XNet. I'm not asking for much. Just asking for a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't want to take the whole steak platter. I just want a little piece of pie, you know, a little cake, a little Friday cake. That's all I want. Nothing crazy. We don't have to go to a fancy steak and lobster dinner place, XNet. I know you're a simple girl, X now, and take you to like a McDonald's 29-cent Wednesday hamburger day. You guys remember that when those Wednesdays on McDonald's like 29-cent hamburgers? That was insane. And come up a little bit more. I'm looking for a little bit more. Come on, just a little bit more. I want the Big Mac and the or the not the Big Mac, but the little cheap hamburger and maybe a fry. Come on, if you just give me a fry here, just get up to that 375. Work with me here. Just work with me. Just a little bounce. A little bit more of a bounce. Just a little bit more. Oh, come on. Okay. Just getting a little bit of buying volume here. But it's having trouble with 370. Let's see at 375. That's where I want to sell at. We need this to come back up some more. Because we don't want the bounce to stop bouncing. The longer it takes to get to 370, the less likely the chances it's going to happen. We may not get it. We may not get that bounce back all the way up. We got a little bounce. It wasn't quite what I wanted. We're coming back down. Give it a little bit of a chance here. I thought we were going to get it, but I don't think we are. This candle needs to be a green candle. It needs to be a green candle for the continuation. Oh, don't like that. Don't like that. Come on, come back up here. And that trend line is about at 360 now. So we are right on that trend line still. So we needed to bounce a little bit more. Ooh, a lot of red. A lot of red. And I may have to get out here. If this trend line starts cracking. Woo, we are really close. It is very sketchy right now. I mean, we are right on the trend line. And it looks like it might crack here. My thinkorswim freeze up again. Oh, don't do this to me right on the trend line. A lot of red coming in here. Oof. I'm just trying to give it a little bit of a chance for this trend line to hold up. We'll see it get back above 360. Okay. Phew. Oh, man, you are making me nervous. 360 to hold. Oh, boy. Okay, come back up. I just want 375. That's all you got to give me. That's all you got to give me, XNet. I'm not asking for the world. Just asking for a little bit here. I know, guys, I'm weird. I talk to stocks. It's strange. I'm going right back down again. Ooh, I don't like that. I mean, we were right on the trend line. Like, it could go either way at this point. Mm. Mm. 350. Ooh. Come on up. Man, guys, this is sketchy. This is dangerous. I wanted a quick bounce. We got a quick little bounce, but it didn't quite bounce as high as I was expecting. Big buyer at 357. See if that holds up. Because that's right on the, that is like right on the trend line. Okay, so that held up for a little bit. Okay. Ooh, boy. Now let's get that bounce. Let's get up at a 375 here. Gotta put the finger on the trigger again here. Not comfortable unless it's above 360. Okay. Man, it is testing this trend line so hard, which is really nerve-wracking because when it starts testing like that, you're in a sketchy area where it could crack at any moment. So that's why I'm saying that I want it to stay up. Oh boy, 357 right now is holding up as support, but man, if it gets taken out, like this is getting sketchy. There's a lot of selling coming in. It keeps testing this 357. And 357 didn't hold up. Oh, big drop there. That may be the end of this. I may have to get out. Trying to see if maybe this is just a quick little sell-off and we're going to come back up or not. This may be kind of the second test of the trend line. I don't want to take a big loss here. But if we can get one more bounce. Yeah. Sorry, man. I don't mean to make it that intense. Like honestly, I should have locked in right here at that 370. That was the bounce play I was looking for. It just didn't quite bounce as hard as I was expecting. So I mean, I was only up like $20, which I should have just locked that in. It would have been fine, $20 on the Friday, whatever. But 370 is not really resistance. Like 375 would be more of resistance, so that's why I'm looking for that 375 move. So that's what I'm looking for. Like I'm not holding this past 375. I'm also not holding this lower than 350. And I don't even really want to hold it that low. Like I'm debating getting out here just to break even, kind of. But I'm trying to give it a chance to see if we get that bounce. Because the trend line is almost cracked, really. Yeah, I think it's trend line looks cracked to me. And the VWAP is all the way back down to that 341 area. So we had that support earlier at 360 though. That was holding up. And now it's kind of acting as resistance, and 350 is kind of support. So yeah, it's not really good. Oh man, I think I'm gonna have to get out. I think I'm gonna have to get out. Take a small loss here because this trend line is not holding up. So we are still above the VWAP, but I don't want to use. I don't want to be in this with the VWAP as support down at 340. You're talking like you're talking about 20 cents stop loss, which is kind of crazy. Mm, yeah, we've really not had a major pullback yet. Man, I'm just trying to see here because we're holding up kind of 358 area, 359. If it can get back above 360, I will give it a chance to try to get to that 375, maybe even 370, and just lock in a little $20 profit. But if it doesn't, then I'm getting out. But I want it to get back above 360 like now. And you can see there's a big seller at 360. So like I said, 360 starting to hold up as resistance, which is not a good thing for me. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna take a small loss. I'm okay with that, but it's getting too sketchy. So yeah, a little $11 loss, and I might have got out of there just in time. But yeah, the simple bounce play worked. We got these red candles here. I got in there, well, right here, 362, somewhere, and then we had this nice little tiny move, little 10-cent quick move. I should have locked in. But like I said, I was really expecting it to at least go 5 more cents to 375. That wasn't that much of a stretch. And it didn't quite do it. But that's the thing with trading on Fridays. You never know what's going to happen. And I got out just in time on this play. So, cut my loss quick and then started to test that 350 support. But yeah, with that trend line cracking, I wasn't going to stay. I couldn't stay in it that much longer. So, $11 loss. It's a Friday. I half expected that if I traded anything that I might take a loss because Fridays are so tricky. But it is what it is. I'm not worried about it. It's a small loss, very small loss. So initially it did what we wanted it to do, just didn't quite go exactly where I wanted. I only want see it got to 371. I only wanted 40 more or 4 more cents out of it. That's all I wanted. I wasn't being that greedy or greedy at all. Like it did exactly what I wanted. It had this little bounce off the trend line, but oh well. Trend line is cracked now. The VWAP is still holding up so far, but with the trend line cracking, it's going to go kind of bearish. Trove is super bearish. All right, guys. Well, give me a 5-minute break here, and if you guys have any questions, you want me to explain a little bit more why I took the stupid little small trade I did, I can explain that more. But yeah, give me about 5 minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay. So, um, my stop well because yeah, usually my stop loss is like 5 to 10 cents, and it's a mental stop loss. I don't like using limit order stop losses, and this came with a lot of trial and error of why I do this, and a lot of traders may disagree. But market makers, when they're filling these limit orders, sometimes will pull a little bit lower, and I've been filled on a stop loss limit order several times right before a stock spikes. Like it'll just drop down really quick, and then I'll be out of the play, and I'm like, really? So that's why I don't do stop loss limit orders. So yeah, it's usually 5 to 10 cents. Um, it kind of depends because right now this is such a small account. You've seen some of these trades I've had where the stock dropped 20, 30 cents and I was still holding, but it came back up. And I wouldn't do that with a very big position. Like I wouldn't do that with 1,000 or 2,000 shares. But with like 100 shares, if it drops 20, 30 cents, I'm only risking like 20, $30 for it to come back up. So that's not like if the bottom support's like at 20, 30 cents, it's not like that big a deal. I'm not gambling that much money. So with the small account, that's why I give them a little more time because my risk is not quite as much. But if I was trading with 1,000 shares, and the stock drops 5 cents, 7 cents, I'm probably going to get out. Very rarely would I hold any longer than that because then you start actually losing decent sized amounts of money. Like losing $100, $200 is quite a bit, but it kind of, and I'm going to do a video on this on my risk management too because like I said, it varies with the size of the account for me. But it's one of those things where it just depends how much I'm trading with, how many shares that my position is, and what my risk tolerance is. Like with a smaller account like this, losing, you know, $30, it's not great, but it's not that bad because I can easily, the next day trade I make $100. So that's still a $70 profit, which is a nice profit on a small account. So you just kind of have to keep that in mind. But yeah, it's generally around like 5 to 10 cents. And like on this play, the trend line was my support line, and the trend line where it cracked at was right over here. And see, we should have been. That's why I was saying 360 needs to hold up right here because it would have still been on the trend line. With it dropping below the trend line, then I didn't want to risk much because I knew this was going to happen if this trend line cracked. It was going to come back down to the VWAP, and that's too much of a loss because I wasn't. That's another thing. Like my profit on this, I was only looking for like 15-cent profit. I was looking for that 375. So that's not a lot of profit. So I can't risk a lot either on this trade. Like if this was a breakout type of play, because this was my bounce play strategy for Friday. But if it was a breakout type of play, my profit may be 150. God, it's a huge seller at 348. This stock is probably going to crack pretty hard. It's going to probably crack the VWAP because that is a big seller. And that's going to scare people out of this. That's probably a shorter. Somebody might be going real big short here, expecting this to crack the VWAP and have a huge pullback. So, yeah, I think I dodged a bullet. I definitely feel like that was the right decision at that time to get out. But I should have locked in on the top of that green candle. That was my strategy. I just really thought that 4 more cents was not going to be that big a deal. I thought we could at least hit that 375, and it didn't quite get it. And you can see here the VWAP starting to crack. With that big seller there, it's going to scare everybody out because trend line traders who trade like I do, like there's some traders that just trade trend lines, they're going to be out of this play. They're going to they got out probably a little bit before I did. So yeah, this is going to crack pretty hard, I would imagine. And that's one thing I always say. There's like a million ways to make money in the stock market. The initial good play on this would have been back here, though. This would have been the bounce play. The really good bounce play. I definitely would not have expected to go up that high. Like, if I would have got in back here, I probably would have sold, like, right here for a little 20, 30 cents. That was what I was originally looking for. But, yeah, risk management, it's kind of what your tolerance is. But, like, I'm up. What am I up? I'm up, like, $230 or something like that on this small account. So losing 11, 15 bucks here, not that big a deal, you know. Most likely I can make it back Monday. But here's the thing. This is the thing with next week. This is what my thoughts are on next week. It's a holiday week, but Halloween's not really a big holiday. I don't think the market is closed on Halloween. But it's going to be a weird week. And there's several reasons why. Partly because of Halloween, because traders will probably be trading in the morning if the market's open, but they're probably not going to be trading too long because, kids are going to be getting ready to go Halloween trick-or-treating and all that stuff. So I would say volume will be off a little bit Thursday, and it'll probably be off Friday. And it's also the last week of the month. Each month is kind of like a new month. At the end of the month, traders, they're a little bit more hesitant on trading because each month brings in a new type of momentum, and they want to kind of wait to see what that month is going to be like, that first week. So while Friday, I think, is the first real week of November is going to be the following week. And I think we can see a lot of volume, a lot of people getting excited for November, for those shippers and the low float runners. I think we'll have a lot of that. So next week I think is going to be a little sketchy. I think we're going to have to be very careful next week. But then the following week, though, I think we're about to really get this account going pretty good. Has you guys got any other questions? Did I answer that stop loss question clear enough for you? Yeah, I knew this was going to crack. I had a feeling this was going to crack. Now you got another big seller at 331. So there's a lot of shorters coming in on this play right now. Yeah, this is going to... the next live will be Monday because I'm pretty sure, even though I traded today, I think my funds will be settled on Monday. I think they settle over the weekend. I haven't traded on a Friday in a long time because I really don't like Fridays. But yeah, it should be Monday. Should be the next live stream for sure. I do have more content coming out. I got a market conditions video I got to edit. That's coming out. I've got the day 4 video that I got to edit. I got 2 of Ben's stock reviews coming out. Who pumps up stocks like SES? I don't know the exact answer to that. It's kind of always different, but what I can say is this time of year, you're going to get a lot of big runners like SES, BIMI, DTSS. That's going to start happening. Like November, it usually happens every single day. You're going to have 100 to 500% runners. And what I think it boils down to, I don't think necessarily anybody's really pumping those plays. I think that they're high potential plays because like
all those stocks had a couple key things in common. They had a lot of room to run if they broke a certain resistance. They all had very low floats, and they all had some type of catalyst. So they were good trades. So there was profit to be made on them. And if nothing else is really going on, and traders are really excited to trade because it's that time of year, you're going to get a lot of long buying coming in. And when stocks start getting up high like that, you start having a lot of shorters come in. And if the long buying is still overweighing the shorters, those shorters start getting crushed, and it makes the stock go up even more because those shorters have to get out. And when shorters get out of a play, they have to buy the stock back. So that makes it to where there's more buying volume. Like you have your long buying volume, and then you have shorters jumping out, which adds to the buying volume. So you start getting these massive moves. And there's a lot of trading chat rooms now too. Like a few years ago, there wasn't that many. There was only like Warrior Trades, and I think like Tim Sykes had one. Or he might still have one. Uh, Sean Deckmar. I don't know if Ricky G has one or not. But there was a few chat rooms back then, and now there's quite a bit. So a lot of these, like, people move stocks, and that's why we trade the stocks we do, because these are the stocks that a lot of people are trading. So when you have a lot of chat rooms focusing on one stock that has, that low float, the good press release, all that, you get more buying volume. So you get a lot of traders moving it up. I don't think it's intentionally pumps. I mean, some of them may be, but I just think it's an overall uh, feel in the market where this whole market is going to get hot, and everybody's going to be buying the same stocks and shorting the same stocks. Yeah, no, Stock twits is a pump and dump for sure. I pay no attention to stock twits because all they do is pump, and you can make you can make some money with a shorting strategy off of stock twits. I think I've heard several traders say that they do that, but I don't like to short, so I think it's pretty risky to short. It's just I don't like this play was easily shortable right here when it started cracking the VWAP. When I saw that big seller, I said, "Oh, this is gonna crack." So I mean, like you could have easily got in right there and shorted at 350 area and sold it down there at that 325 for a quick 25-cent short. But I mean, I just don't like it because I do think shorting can be easier uh, for making profits, but it's more risky. And then on top of that, you run into whether or not your broker has the shares for you to short. So like if your whole plan is to short this one stock that day, and then you go to short and they run out of shares to short, then you just wasted your whole day on that plan. So that's another reason. Like there's just a lot of cons to shorting that I just don't like. And it's such a negative way to trade. Like it's so negative. Like you're betting against the stock. You're like, okay, stock, you're a POS. So you ain't going anywhere. I bet you're gonna crash, you sad little stock. Like I'm not a negative person, so I don't like it. Just doesn't fit me. Like everybody's different, but shorting just doesn't. It's just not my thing. I like positivity. I like saying, "Oh, you beautiful stock. Come on up here. Let's move on up to the big leagues. Let's make some money." So yeah. Well, has anybody got any more questions? It's almost 11 here. And next week, Monday, I will be trading at 8:15. I'll start the live stream at like 8:15 ish. It won't be a late one like today. Today was just I had stuff to do, and then on top of that, I really wasn't even wanting to make a trade today, unless something really stood out to me, and so XNet just kind of stood out because it went crazy there for a minute. But yeah, next week Monday I'm gonna be gung ho and ready to try to really get into a trade and make a decent amount of money. I want to get this. My goal of 10 for 10 is lost. It's ruined today. I ruined the dream, but that's okay. My profit goal though is to turn this account from 700 to 2,000 within a month. And so far it's been 2 weeks, so I really need to get some big gains going next week and the week after, which like I said, I don't know if next week's going to be good or not. Like, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be a great week. I think we're going to have to wait till the following week to really, really get after it and try to make some big trades. I'd like to see some dollar stocks running next week. Or not next week, but the week after. Some stocks around like 90 cents. Because then I can get like 900 shares. And if we get a dollar run, I could easily double the account in one trade. It's going to be hard to double the account, with only 200 or 300 shares of the stock. It'd have to be a really, yeah. No, that's what I was saying this morning, One Life, is that and this is in the market conditions video that's coming out, but I look at this 10% gainer list in the morning, and if I see a bunch of high price stocks and very few penny stock world stocks, then I don't, like, that gives me a good indicator that it's going to be a slow market for the penny stock world anyway. Yeah, XNet was nice, but a little unpredictable. Because, like, looking at this trend line, whoops, went too far back. Looking at this trend line here, you could kind of see a trend line start forming, but there's not really any good entry along back here. Even at market open, it's just kind of bullish above the VWAP. So, like, if you bought at the VWAP, you're not really buying in on a pattern or anything. You're just kind of like hoping that it stays above the VWAP, which is not really good. So there's not really maybe a little bit of a U here. Maybe say that's a U, but the play on XNet was this bounce right here. The one, like, right when a little bit after I started the stream, and I was like, I want to look for a bounce play, and right there I was kind of looking at it, and then I just didn't get in. Yeah, that bounce was a big bounce, and at that point you can't get in anywhere. Like, if you get in anywhere on this, you're a psychopath. Like, there's no patterns, just kind of straight up, way off the trend line, way off the VWAP. Like, if you get in there, you're one of those coke snorting Wolf of Wall Street guys who has no chill whatsoever. You're just crazy. You're wearing alligator boots and a Crocodile Dundee hat, and you carry a 20-inch knife around with you. That's the type of person who gets in at that point. Now, you can see that's obviously not me. I'm a bit safer of a trader. A little bit. Sometimes I get a little wild, but this is a small account, so my risk tolerance is a little higher. Once we get up to like 3-4 grand, then we're gonna really be being careful, because we can get some big wins, but we can also take some big losses if not careful. You gotta be careful. ACRS, let's take a look at it. And if you guys ever have any stocks you want me to look at while I'm doing this, I can look at them. Like, I have the bin stock reviews. I do that just to. No. See, this is when. Is that what you said? ACRS. Okay. Much better looking. So let's see what the shares are on this, because this actually was a decent looking play today, and this was nowhere on my radar. $38 million. So the 1-year chart looks great on this, actually. The 1-year chart is great because you're above both indicators here. And you've got room to go to 441. If you break $3, you've got a gap to fill back here from 3 to almost at 441. You got a little resistance at 2, which you can see $2 held up. But what is going on with this stock? Is this OTC or something? Well, it's showing buying volume. It had a lot of white dashes. This is kind of weird. I'm not sure why. But it had a lot of these white candles, which I'm not a fan of. I mean, if you look at the 5-minute, does this have any type of... Yeah, positive results. Yeah, it's got a good press release. This stock actually meets... This stock actually meets every single criteria. And it even had a U shape under the VWAP, and it broke out there from 180 to $2. But I think what it is the float is not that low. Like, it's a little low, 34 million. So it's probably like 32 million. I think maybe with all the volume being on XNet, because I'm not, like, this was not anywhere on my radar, which I don't understand why. I never saw it on the scanner or anything. But maybe because of that float, that's why it has a lot of these white dashes. Because you don't see that a lot on the stocks that I trade. Like, you may get 1 or 2. And you actually you got a couple of doji stars. Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, this does fit the criteria. These white dashes are what's throwing me off. So I don't think I would trade it just because of that. Because that usually means it's not as liquid for some reason. There may be something I don't know about this play, but it is kind of, I mean, it does meet the criteria. Like, those dashes are the only thing that makes me nervous. Let's see, One Life said he jumped in here at the VWAP break. 344. It's not a bad entry. I would be very careful. I mean, we do have a little bit of a... It's more of a W than it is a U shape. I would be careful on that because, like I said, there was a lot of shorters coming in, and they could be out, but I mean, you are back above the VWAP, but this is, I mean, it's kind of late in the day. I would just be real careful. Like, if you locked in right at the 357 for 11-cent scalp, that could have been a good play. If you didn't get a notification and you sign and you hit the notification bell, maybe check your YouTube settings to see if your YouTube is allowing notifications. Because sometimes YouTube automatically has that off for like everything. So you have to check and see if it's allowing notifications. You didn't miss much, Boy Banks. It's Friday. Like I was telling everybody, it's not. Fridays are really hard to trade on. They're not as predictable. You have a lot of selling volume. I did make a trade. And I took a small loss, a little $11 loss on XNet. Uh, I got in right around here, like 362, looking for this bounce play. It got up to 370. I was looking for 375. I wanted to sell at 375. Didn't break or didn't get to 375, and then it kind of crashed out and the trend line broke, so I jumped out. Took a small loss, not a big deal. But yeah, that's all you missed. Not much of anything. It's Friday, so there's usually not much going on. Right now, One Life is in XNet, I think, still. He's probably got his finger on the trigger right now. He was looking for the VWAP break here, which it did, but you're not going to get this late in the day. As much as this is already ran and all the shorters that came in at the break of the VWAP, you're probably not going to get a big run here. You possibly, if it can hold the VWAP, you possibly could get a slow climb for the rest of the day. Maybe. Like, it possibly could slowly climb by like 3 o'clock back up to that $4 area. Maybe. But that's only if it can hold the VWAP up here. The W, you don't see that very often, honestly. Like, this is like a perfect W on this play. Like, it really is. Like, this is a perfect W. And it's not really, like, I've never even seen one that perfect, to be honest with you. So I don't know if a W pattern is as good as a U shape or not. I mean, at this point, it was okay. It did break the VWAP, but what we're kind of looking for in those U shapes is after the initial run down, we were looking for a slow build up back to the VWAP. So like this, it dropped down and then it came back up, and then it dropped down and it came back up. So it's not quite. With U shapes and triangles, you're wanting higher lows. So you want the lows, the new lows that are coming in, to start making like a stairway up. Because when you go up to, let's say, like, I'm trying to think of a good example, like a slide, for example. Well, no, a slide's not a good example because that would mean it was going down. But basically, you kind of want a build up to the VWAP, like stairs. Like, okay, we're getting closer. Like, we're starting to hike up this mountain. It's a slow hike. And then, like, once you break the VWAP, you get a shot up the mountain or something. Like, maybe, like, in a building, there's stairs for the first floor, and then there's an elevator on the second floor. So you need those stairs to slowly build up to the first floor, and then you go hop on the elevator, and that's when you get your big run to the VWAP. So, that's a terrible example, but I hope you got that. So yeah, like this W pattern, it didn't really build up. It just kind of went down, up, and then broke above. But yeah, it's weird. That's a weird pattern that I've not seen very often, especially not that perfect. Like, that's such a perfect W. Let's see. What was it? Trove, I think. No, Trove didn't have a U shape. Trove had the triangle, but this is what I'm talking about, higher lows. If you don't know what higher lows are. So your lows right here are here. That's some lows. Then your next lows are like right here. So those are lows. And then your next lows are right here. So you want those lows to be building up. You want that step and that kind of stairway going up, and then you'll get your big breakout. Now, the reason why I knew Trove wasn't going to break out was because this same pattern happened on the stock I traded Wednesday, and it didn't break out. So that gave me a good idea that it wasn't going to happen. And One Life is still in on XNet. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. I don't. It was a little gambly if you ask me, but you know, you did get the VWAP break, so it could pay off for you. I hope it does. But just remember, 360 is going to be tough resistance because 360 was holding up as support for a while there. And so you can see right here, I can draw this line right across here. Well, that was kind of ugly, but you can see it 360 was resistance back here. It broke through, bounced off, bounced off, bounced off, bounced off, bounced off, and then cracked. So that 360 is going to hold up as some resistance. Maybe not that much, but it will be some. It looks like One Life might have nailed this play. Got it at 344. You have about 20 cents now. I would probably lock in here soon if I was you. If on a Friday, nice little 20-cent win. I don't know how many shares you bought, but you can see how 360 is holding up again a little bit as resistance. We'll see. I want to see what One Life does here on this play. Big buyer at 360. Oh, he got taken out though quick. That was quick. See, this is the thing that's been worrying me about this stock all day. There's been a lot of selling pressure after that initial big run up. There's been quite a bit of selling pressure on this stock. And there was some big short orders come in at the break of the VWAP. Got out at 359, 459, 359. That's a good idea. I think you played that pretty well. That's a good trade, man. I like it. Break of the VWAP. So what One Life did was he waited for this VWAP break on this W pattern that is amazingly beautiful for that. Which I don't even know what a W pattern is, to be honest with you. Like I said, normally it's a U shape or more of a triangle, but that did make a perfect W. But he got in right around this 343, break of the VWAP, 344, and he held and rode this up to that 360 resistance. Nice little 15-cent win. What I was trying to do, if XNet would have gave me 4 more cents, XNet's stingy. Wouldn't give me 4 more cents. All I wanted was 4 more cents, and I would have got a 15-cent win as well. But hey, congratulations, man. Nice trade. Nice trade. Pretty good. Good VWAP break trade. Nice little quick lock-in on Friday. That's a good job. That was very well disciplined to show to get in and get out where you did. Nice job. Because I knew that 360 was going to hold up as pretty strong resistance. Right now, you're going to have a lot of traders going out to lunch. Volume's going to start dying off. So resistance lines are going to get tougher. They're always tough on Friday anyway, but they're going to get tougher as the day goes on because more swing traders are selling out. You know, long holders are getting out. It's a selling day. What did TWMC do? I like that stock. It didn't do anything. Initially, it had a nice run up. It had a $1 run. But I mean, how excited is traders really going to get over them doing a cartoon collaboration? You know, you're not going to get that big of a deal. I mean, this stock has had some nice moves before. We had $9 to $20. Wow. So this stock is a known runner. Crazy. What'd you make? Did you make 3 trades one life? Is that what you're saying? You made two small red trades and one nice green. One life must be on a margin account, I would guess. If that's what you meant by one nice green, two small red. If you've got three, if you made 3 trades today. So now the question on XNet would be whether or not this VWAP will hold up or not. I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is, since the 200-day moving average is right there at 342, I think this is going to pull back for the day behind this 200-day moving average. I don't think it's going to break out over it. Because right now it's being held back by it. Okay, I got you. You're using a cash account, so you're just using smaller amounts of money instead of using your whole account on one trade. That's cool. I mean, that's what eventually, as this count grows, that's eventually what I'm going to be doing as well. You know, once I get up to like 10,000, I'm not most likely not going to trade $10,000 on one trade. Now, it is possible. If I see something that is hot, that has got the potential to take off, I will go all in on a high potential stock if I think that we're going to get a nice run. But most likely, even with that way, I would still probably only be trading like 2,000 on Monday, maybe 3,000 on Tuesday. It'd be kind of like that. But I definitely won't be making 3 trades in a day. That's not really my style. I like to make 1 trade a day. Nice and simple. Like sometimes I might make 2, but even if I have a lot, and if I'm on a bigger account, I don't make a bunch of trades. I just don't think it's necessary, because like if like with my strategy, you usually, besides today's strategy was not my normal strategy. This was a bounce play strategy that I only use on Fridays, and it's sometimes I use it if the market's kind of slow, like if it's a red market and I know that there's not going to be any breakouts, then I'll use that bounce play strategy as well there. But normally my VWAP break strategy, I use it the majority of the time, like 95% of the time. I don't know where I was going with that. I thought I had something I was going to say, but I forgot. I don't know. Don't know where I was going with that. There was something, but I done forgot now. So yeah, pretty ugly day. About what I expected for a Friday. Not a lot going on. Couple of potential plays. Trove cracked off pretty quickly. It was pretty obvious, seen it coming. And then XNet did get a little bounce. I just didn't sell. took a small loss. And then XNet still pretty much got the volume, so another VWAP break led to One Life getting him a nice little trade in. On this W shape, I mean, if you really, like, you could just say it's a U shape, honestly, because you're not, like, I would almost bet money that you're not going to see a perfect W like this in another 5 years. And you might, but I mean, it's just like such a perfect W. I would just say this is a U shape under the VWAP. In One Life, you traded that. Would you agree on that? Would you agree that this is just a U shape and not really a W? I mean, it looks just like a W, but I would just say it's just more of a U shape. See if One Life agrees with me on that. Maybe One Life has a secret W pattern strategy that he uses. Maybe that's his secret. The secret W, the Illuminati W pattern. Is that what you call it, One Life? I'm waiting to see if he's going to answer. See on this one, the second candle would kind of be up too high to buy it on this VWAP break. This was a pretty quick VWAP break, honestly, but like you really, am I in the 5 minute? No, I'm in the 1 minute. So normally you want to see this strong VWAP break. And in the morning when there's more volume on these plays, you usually have like one candle that kind of breaks the VWAP and kind of fights with it. You want to wait for that next candle to be above the VWAP, to open above it, so that way you get that, you know, you for sure breaking the VWAP. On this one, it's kind of a little trickier. And that's why I kind of said it kind of felt a little gambly to me on this, because you just kind of went straight through the VWAP. And he got in there. You watched the 1 minute and the 5 minute at the same time. Yeah, I used to do that, but I just rather switch. Like, I'm on the 1 minute most of the time, so I very rarely look at both. Like, if it's later in the day, like now, I will switch to the 5 minute if I'm like looking for a trade. But One Life's a renegade. He's back in at 348. You're one of them coke snorting Wolf of Wall Street guys, aren't you? Why'd you get in at 348 right here? Because the VWAP held up, I'm assuming, for the break of 350. You're a renegade. I like it. You got what? Are you trying to go for another 10 cents here? Now, me personally, like I said, I only like to trade like once a day, maybe twice. I would have locked in that profit and called it a day. But this is entertaining to watch somebody else trade. I mean, I can't see what you're doing, but I can see my chart, and I kind of have an idea of what you're doing. Let's see what happens here. See if he makes him another 10-cent profit. I'm assuming he's looking for the run back up to 360. And maybe a second try of 360. Yeah, I'm telling you, he's a renegade. Like, everybody has their own ways of trading. Like, you guys, you learn my strategy that, you know, you might want to tweak it a little bit to what you're comfortable with. But hey, if he's making money, I applaud him. Like I said, there's millions of ways to make money in the stock market. I just prefer my strategy because is what I've mastered and what I've seen the most success with for me. And I think it's a very easy strategy to teach to new traders as well, and intermediate traders too. See the break at 357? You might get it. You might get back up to 360. But XNet's been very stingy today. It hasn't, well, at least it was stingy with me. It didn't give me my extra 4 cents I wanted. So, but you might get it. Now, One Life, do you use this strategy like every day? These little scalp plays that you're doing? Or is this like a Friday thing? Because, see, that could be the big difference between me and him. He might do a lot of small trades like every single day like this, where he's just scalping little 10 cent, 15 cent runs. Whereas my main strategy is I'm looking for, 25 cent to dollar runs or plus on low float stocks. So I'm just curious if that's his like main strategy is scalping like this, because it's another way to make money, but I don't like doing it. All right, guys. Well, if you have any more questions, go ahead and get them in. I'm gonna give One Life a little time here. I want to see if he makes another little profit on this. If you have any questions, I'll go ahead and answer them. And then we'll end the stream here shortly, because it's about breakfast time. I'm not a huge morning person, so when I get up for the stock market, I usually get up at like 7:30, 7 o'clock, and get ready, and I don't eat anything, so I'm like starving the whole time I'm trading, which probably is a bad idea. I probably should eat so that way my focus isn't torn away from my trading. Pro tip, guys, eat before you trade. Stay hydrated. Yeah, so you're a scalper. You're one of those scalping guys. That's cool. I respect it. If you're making money, you're making money. So what I want to do earlier though, before I end the stream, I want to check a couple of these shipping stocks and see if we see anything. I checked tops already. I checked dries. DCIX. That's the one I was trying to think of earlier. DCIX. I want to see. So DCIX. We can actually see the chart a little bit on this one. It's not really doing much. Starting to get a little action. I'm just checking these for November. Like I'm not trading these next week or anything, most likely. I'm just wanting to see what volume on these plays are looking like for next week. Or not next week, but for November, sorry. So SHIP has a ton of potential. We are just now starting to get above these indicators, the 9 and the 50. And if we come up, 90 cents is going to be a little bit of resistance. But if we can see this guy starting to get up to $1 and it breaks $1, we've got room to run to 192, and then if that breaks, we have room to run to $3. So there's a lot of potential on SHIP. Maybe the week after next, maybe the first week of November, second week of November. But honestly, patterns and all that stuff when it comes to these shipping stocks don't even matter. Because once they get hot, they go and do whatever they want to do. And you have ridiculous runs, and you have who lose their whole life savings because they think they can short a shipping stock and get away with it. There's stories. Yeah, see, you didn't stay disciplined. You gotta stay disciplined. You said you were looking for the 357. Should have got out there. No, you're doing good. You're doing fine. You got a little bit of a win, I guess. I don't know how many shares you bought, but you didn't take a loss, so that's good. I would imagine, since TD Ameritrade, well, I don't know what platform you're using, but I would imagine that since it's commission free for most platforms, you're using one of those. That probably helps your strategy out quite a bit because you don't have to pay those commissions anymore. That was another reason I didn't really like those small plays. And like, if there was still commissions, I wouldn't even trade it today. I would not have made that trade on XNet because it would not have been worth it at all. So, but yeah, there's a horror story a few years ago, back when DRYS went on its massive run. I don't know if we'll be able to see it or not. I'm going to look for it, but I'm going to see if I can adjust it to 3 years and maybe see it. Nope, can't see it there. So maybe their charts are so screwed up. But like 3 or 4 years ago, there was the shippers really got hot, and DRYS, I think it was DRYS if I remember right, it ran from like $4 to $80 in a span of a few days. Like, it was a massive run. And there were shorters who tried to short it at like $40 and got destroyed. There was one guy that said he lost like $250,000 or something on trying to short a shipper. So I don't recommend shorting shippers ever. And they can move fast. Shippers can move extremely fast when they get hot. So you kind of have to be careful even going long with the shippers and on day trades, because like there's some traders I know who will let's see, I'll probably butcher your name and I apologize in advance, but Zahing Shi, are you asking me? Are you asking One Life? Oh, my TD froze up here. I'm just waiting to see who he's asking, because on the small account, I'm doing the small account challenge right now, so that's the only thing I'm trading. I'm at 944. I was at 955 ish, but I took 11. Yeah, I'm at. You can see right here, account info. I don't think it shows my number. Can you guys see it? Maybe. I think you can see it up here in the corner, but my cash and sweep vehicle is 944 right now. And I started with like 720. It was 720-ish. And the reason I didn't start with with like 700 was because I was holding a swing trade for a while. Yeah, it was like 715, 720-ish. I don't exactly remember. But I was holding a swing trade for a while, and when I sold it, that's when I wanted to start the small account, and it put me like right at like 700-ish or something like that. I don't know. I was a little above 700, but it was like 720. Well, I'm up like $220, so in 5 trades. Took $11 loss today, so that's not that big a deal. So, but yeah, you can see there, cash and sweep vehicle, 944. I've grew the account a little over $200 so far. And we're going to look to continue that momentum next week. We're just kind of messing around right now. I'm looking, kind of looking into the future to see what we may be coming up with next in November. Let me switch this back. There we go. Because like I said, shippers might start getting hot. Pot stocks should start getting hot. Maybe the pot stocks are taking a real beating right now, to be honest with you. See, how's Aurora looking? Aurora still dropped pretty hard, but starting to hold up. May find some support around that 350. But yeah, I've got a stock review video coming out on Namaste Technologies. Somebody asked me to review that in the stock review series. And Namaste Technologies is just getting destroyed. I mean, it's down to like 30 cents. So, and like I said in that video, I don't know if it's going to come back up. It's kind of sketchy. So let's look at Cron. Cron's starting to come back up some. See, what is Canopy Growth's? I can't remember Canopy Growth's ticker symbol. There it is. See, they have a weird ticker symbol. That's why I can never remember it. TWMJF. I'll never remember that. I don't know. I don't know if my strategy would work on Forex or not. I've looked into trading Forex, but quite honestly, I just like trading stocks because Forex, you're not, like when you buy a stock, you're initially getting a piece of the company, right? So when you buy Forex, you're not really getting anything. You're just kind of betting on money. So I don't really like it because of that. I'd much rather, like, I just feel more comfortable knowing that if I buy a stock, even though I'm day trading and I'm selling the positions right away, it's still in my head. I just feel better knowing that, you know, I'm actually buying something. I feel weird buying nothing. I mean, I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's just me. It's just how I feel about it. So I really don't know if it would work on Forex. You could try it. I would paper trade it. I would paper trade and try it paper trading. Don't use your real money and trade it on Forex because, like I said, I have no idea. I really don't. I'm not going to lie to you. I only trade stocks. I don't trade options. Like I said, I'm a very simple trader. I like to keep things very simple. And options and Forex and crypto and all that, it's a little bit more tricky. Like I know there's more profits in it, a lot of people say, but you know, I like to have several streams of income. Like I don't like to rely solely on day trading, and that's why I'm doing a small account challenge because I don't solely rely on day trading. You know, if I solely relied on day trading as my main income, I could not do a small account challenge. You know, there'd be no way. But yeah, I like multiple streams of income. So keeping day trading simple for me helps me in that aspect. And that's the same thing with the YouTube channel. You know, once it's monetized, then I'll be making some income there. And I've got real estate investments. So I get multiple streams of income, but that's just me. It's just how I like to be. Like I don't want day trading as my sole main income because it can be very consistent and you can live off of day trading. I just would rather not. You know, I want multiple streams of income. I'm trying to build an empire of real estate and, you know, several different things. I love day trading. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's probably my favorite stream of income, but it's not my main one. Do I take more than one trade a day? Not usually. This is what I was saying earlier. I normally only take one trade. And on the small account challenge, because I'm trading with so little and it's not margin, I can't make more trades in a day. Like I can't trade with $100 and make a decent profit. I have to trade with the whole position size of the account, the whole $900, to make a trade because I'm trying to build it. So to build it, I need bigger profits. So yeah, like in 2 weeks, I've only made 5 trades, but I've won 4 of those 5 trades, so I'm up in profit. And as this account grows, I'll scale up my position sizes. So once I get to 2,000, I'll be buying more shares of a stock. So like that $40 win Wednesday would have been like maybe an $80, $120 win. You know, it's going to keep growing. Like that's how you have to do it. You scale up when you have a business, and you got to treat day trading like a business. You want to scale up. Once you're making profits consistently, then you start scaling them up, and you grow the account, and you keep scaling up, and then you're good to go. So, every once in a while, if the account is bigger, I might make a second trade if I see something that I really like. But most likely, it's usually only going to be one trade. And while the small account is small, I'm only going to be able to make max 3 trades a week. And I'll be quite honest with you, I really don't like trading Fridays. And I took a loss today. It wasn't a big loss. It was a small loss. It was only $11. Who cares? I'll make that back Monday probably. Uh, I probably won't do too many more streams on Fridays. I just don't like Fridays, especially in a small account. Like if you got a bigger account like One Life where he's scalping and stuff, you can do that on Fridays. But I primarily like my breakout VWAP trading strategy, and on Friday it's just kind of too sketchy to use that strategy. So, like, for a while, I'll probably only be doing 2 trades a week. It'll probably be like, I'll attempt on Monday. If I don't make a trade on Monday, then I'll trade again on Tuesday, and then maybe if I make a trade on Tuesday, then I'll trade on Thursday. But because I have that day where my funds have to settle, there's always be a day in between where I won't be able to live stream because I can't make a trade. It's a bit of a challenge growing a small account. That's why it's a small account challenge. Like you can't do but so much on it. See, what One Life said something about XNet. Yeah, XNet is moving. It broke above at 360. Ooh, well, maybe not. Let's see. At this point, though, I mean, you're scalping, so you could have got in there again. But I don't. We are starting to build some higher lows again here. Another trend line forming here on XNet. So if anybody's looking for a trade, you potentially. Trading versus investing? Like you mean like long-term investing, like holding a stock for 10 or 15 years versus day trading? Is that what you're asking me? Because if that's what you're yeah, okay. So I personally like day trading because when you're day trading, you can grow with small amounts of money. And then once you have a big enough account, you can consistently make profits and it's a stream of income. And like I said, I only like to make one trade a day. So I'm usually only trading for like 30 minutes to an hour. I'm just looking for that one trade and then I'm done. So it becomes a consistent stream of income. Whereas long term investing, it's not really a stream of income unless you buy dividend stocks. And I do like dividend stocks, but you have to buy a lot of them to make it worth it. If you have $200,000 to invest, then I would say, learn day trading, paper trading first, and maybe open an account with 25K so you're around the PDT rule, and then put the other 150 in a dividend stock or a couple dividend stocks if you want to diversify. But You know, like TD Ameritrade, they have their own stock. TD Bank, I think it's just TD. Yeah. So when that low commissions thing hit, this thing cracked down. Is this TD? Yeah, it's TD. The stock price had dropped down. Oh well, I wonder if Ameritrade has its own stock. See, I'm not sure on that. I know of TD. Well, anyway, the point being, TD is a dividend stock. So if you buy like 500, or let's see, what is it? If you was to buy like 20,000 shares, maybe. Oh, what is it? I'm trying to think. I had this math worked out in my head and I can't remember now. So it's like 50 cents a dividend check that they pay quarterly, it looks like. Yeah, I think they pay quarterly. So if you buy enough of this dividend stock, they'll pay you every quarter for holding their shares. And it's 50 cents per share. So I think like if you had 150,000, you could just buy 150,000 of this and hold it, and you would get a paycheck for how many ever shares that is. Let me calculate. Let me get my phone out. My brain's not working right now. Let's see. Calculator. So we say 50 cents. Oh, let's see. So 150,000. So you'd have 2,000 shares. So even that still wouldn't be that great, but. So if you bought 2,000 shares of TD, you would get 50 cents per every share. So you would make $1,000 quarterly from TD. So it can be another stream of interest or income. I'm sorry. Yeah, look at there. XNet moving back up. Like I said, it's on this trend line, so you got a new trend line to follow. But if you buy a lot of buying volume coming in there. If you had a lot of money, like $1 million or so, you could buy quite a bit of TD or some other dividend stocks and have a nice income coming in quarterly for doing nothing. So it's a great passive stream of income if you're investing in dividend stocks. So I do like, if you're going to long-term invest, do it in dividend stocks. And they're usually safer. They're not as crazy moving as other stocks are. They kind of, like, they'll have some moves, but they won't move too much. They'll keep growing, but day trading, you don't have to have, hundreds of thousands of dollars to make money. I've made $200 in 2 weeks. Granted, I'm using a small account, but I've made $200 in 2 weeks. That's $200 extra that I didn't have, off of only having $700 invested. So day trading, I think, has potential for more profits with less money, and that's why I like it over long-term investing. But if you want to play it safe, then dividend stocks are cool. They're a way to make money if you've got a lot. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. I favor day trading. It's a lot more potential if you ask me. But dividend stocks are probably more consistent because you don't have to do anything. Just buy more shares. If we get a $4 break on this, I'd be surprised. But XNet's already surprised me today several times, so I'm honestly surprised it's back up this high, because when it was all them shorters came in, I thought for sure it was going to crash out really hard, and it only came down to 320. It's struggling with 375 though. I keep seeing a lot of sellers popping up at 375. I would say it needs to build up to $4 a little bit longer, like maybe like 20 more minutes. It just needs some slower build up, because if it goes straight up to $4, it's not going to crack. It's not going to break through. It's going to have a lot of problems if it goes straight up. That's why That's why I say with the U shape and the triangle, you kind of want that slow build up to get up to that resistance line. When you go straight up to a resistance line, most of the time it doesn't break, it crashes right back down. I think I said it in one of the other streams. It's like an old car. You've got to warm it up before you take it out and take it on the interstate. You got to hit the gas a couple of times, warm the car up to really get it started and going. So that's what this needs to do here to get a $4 break. But on a Friday, it's probably not good. And of course, now you want to get to 375. Couldn't do it. Couldn't get to 375 when I was trying to make that little bounce play happen. Yeah, a lot of big selling at 375. That's what I would have been out at if it would have happened. Well, all right, guys. If there is no other questions, I'm gonna hop off the stream here. I'll give you a second to get any more in. Fifth day of the small account challenge, and I took a small loss. That's okay. We're going to get back on the horse next week. I halfway expected a small loss today because of Fridays. Don't like Fridays, but it's all right. Give you guys just a second here. You want the triangle and U shapes can happen above the VWAP as well. Like I think it was Monday the trade I made was above the VWAP. The U shape happened. If I can remember correctly, I don't remember, but technically yes. Like what was that one ACRS that we were looking at? It had a perfect U shape today. Let's see here. So like on ACRS, for example, that's a perfect U shape just about. But for example, on ACRS, if it didn't make this U shape for it to be a triangle, you would need it to build out a little bit more. So like the triangle would start, and like instead of this pop here, you would still have it kind of going up this trend line to the VWAP, and then you would get your run. And sometimes stocks will make a pattern where it kind of looks like a U shape and a triangle at the same time. But yeah, you want it to, like you can see right here on this chart, this looks like a triangle now. If I draw that to there, and then that to there, so you would want that break of the VWAP there on the triangle up to the VWAP. And then this was a perfect U shape, dropped below the VWAP, came around and broke above the VWAP. So that's what you want to look at. But sometimes, like I said, they can happen above the VWAP. But most of the time, we really want it to be below and then that break of the VWAP. But I think, I don't remember which stock it was. It kind of ran up and then it came down to the VWAP. So when it started curling back around, that's a U shape. The VWAP acts as a support and resistance. So when it's below the VWAP, we want it on the break of the VWAP. That's where we want the top of the U or the triangle. When we're on the bottom, or when we're above the VWAP, the VWAP should be support, which should be your bottom of your U shape or your triangle. So like instead of like how this is below the VWAP right now, it would be something like this, and the candles would just be kind of run along the VWAP here. And the VWAP holds up as support, and you start getting that U shape back around. So then you would get the break right like this. See what I'm saying? So the U shapes and triangles, they can happen above and below the VWAP. Preferably, it's usually a lot better if they're below the VWAP, but sometimes you can get them on a nice little breakout when they're above the VWAP as well. I hope that makes sense. Look at XNet here, going off. Wow. I kind of want to see if it's going to get to $4 and break $4. That'd be interesting. See, once again, XNet has made me eat my own words. I said I did not think it was going to get up much higher because of that 200-day moving average, but I thought that pullback below the 200 was going to stay there, but it didn't. It's coming right back up. Interesting. So I'll give it a second. I'll give you guys a second to, if you have any more questions or whatever, then we'll go into them. If not, I'm just going to give it a second to see if it gets to $4. Yeah. Yeah, One Life, it is crazy. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't even think that it has a press release, so it doesn't really have a catalyst. Something about an option alert. But yeah, there's no news on this play either. That's the other thing. This is probably a pump. I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why this initially had the run it did. There's nothing really special on the chart either. It just gapped up this morning for some reason. Yeah, it just gapped up for no reason whatsoever this morning, unless I'm missing something, but... Yeah, and it does have a higher float. That's another thing. That's why I was initially turned off by it, but I was going to give it that trend line bounce. I gave it that little trend line bounce try there. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with this play. This is one of those crazy Fridays where stocks just do whatever. They just do whatever. Predictability is not really there because I could have never predicted this going up again. So that's crazy. I really don't know. I have no idea. Like maybe it's an Asian stock or something. Did they make a deal with China finally or something? I don't know. If that was the case, there would be more China stocks running. Wait, I think Czech is a China stock. No, Czech's not. I thought maybe it was. I don't know. Czech had a decent little move. Alright, so XNet, yeah, XNet looks like it's done. Well, it's back to the trend line, but let's see if the trend line cracks again. Looks like it might crack. So yeah, trend line's about right there. See if it could go back up. So support and the trend line is back at that 360 area again. Interesting. Huh. Let's see. No. So it'll be interesting to see what this does. I'm not going to wait it out any longer because I've already took my loss on it. But I am curious to see at the end of the day, like around 4 o'clock, I am going to check on like FinViz or Yahoo Finance to see what the price of this stock ends up being, because I'm curious. I'm curious to what it's going to do throughout the day, because it's being crazy. But yeah, all right, guys. It's been a pretty boring Friday. One Life got all the action on this play. So congrats to him for getting a nice little win. There'll be some more content coming out this weekend. Like I said, the market conditions video, another stock review video, a couple different things happening. And then Monday we'll start back fresh. It's going to be a weird week next week. I'm calling it now. It's going to be off. It's going to be strange. It's going to be creepy. And it is because it's going to be a Halloween week. But it's not because it's going to be a Halloween week also. I don't know. It's going to be a weird week next week. That's all I know. So we're going to be very cautious, but we're going to be ready to go Monday. Try to get another win on this account. Make up for this little loss today. I'd like to make a decent profit next Monday, like 100, 150, something to get this over 1,000. I'd like to get this count over 1,000 by the 6th trade. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Look forward to Monday. Unless something happens, I should be live streaming Monday. I don't think anything's going to happen, but I should be doing the stream again. We'll be back to the regular strategy of trying to find those VWAP breaks with the patterns, and it should be a good Monday. All right, One Life. Well, I'll definitely probably be streaming again either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, depending on how Monday goes. But I'll update it on the channel so everybody can see it. But yeah, that's it, guys. Appreciate you guys joining me. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Good job, everybody.